Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and actually welcome finally to some Project Zara update. I finally got some parts in the mail. This is my new Mishimoto intake. It's going to replace the 1 million horsepower eBay intake, basically just because there's so many problems with it, which I'll get onto in a minute. Sorry it's taken so long to do an update on this car. I've been waiting for ages to fix some things with this car. Obviously since the last video on this car you saw I did the kidney brackets and all that, sorted that stuff out. Problems that still need to be sorted before it can even attempt to pass an MOT. The emissions are still high, it needs a full service. The fans don't work, which if you don't know are a common problem on the 350z. And also, rather annoyingly now, my stereo seems to have packed up. I'm hoping that's nothing too big, but we can live without that. But for the time being, and especially today guys, we're going to be installing this new Mishimoto intake. It didn't really come with any instructions I can find, so I'm going to hope I can just use my initiative, which as always with cars is probably the best way. But yeah, so let's get on with the video and install this. So inserting some B-roll shots here, you can see what the original intake actually looks like. It's dreadful. From eBay, I think they're about 20 quid. I did change the hoses, which if you've been following my channel from the start, you'll already know. Red for power, blue for coolant. As always my thing with hoses. Air filter that I bought for my Fiesta but didn't quite fit under the bonnet. Everything else is pretty much from the car when I bought it. Basically some problems with the intake. One, massive heat soak. As you can see, the air filter is sat flat bang in the middle of the engine bay, so obviously going to be soaking a lot of heat. The intake pipe itself, a couple of vacuum leaks on it. If I'm completely honest, the hoses are not great. The fitment is terrible. It actually catches alongside the firewall there. The PCV valve, which is one of the main reasons I'm changing this intake out, is because it's bent at right angle. If we can see on the new Mishimoto intake, the right angle is actually in the pipe already. So the PCV valve will come straight in like that. So that's going to be changed. So basically that's the reason for changing this, is that eBay intake needs to go. So let's crack on and do it.
The tools I use for this install are a 10mm, 8mm and 7mm socket for all the Jubilee clips, a small 3/8" ratchet, a flathead screwdriver, a 10mm spanner and an impact wrench just to speed up some areas. Firstly, I undo the small 10mm bolt holding the air filter to the engine bay. Then, using the 8mm, I undo the various Jubilee clips along the intake tubing. I'm then able to move the air filter and MAF sensor out of the way. Here you can see just how badly bent the PCV pipe was. Now, using a 10mm socket and a 10mm spanner, I undo the bolts holding the air filter adapter to the MAF sensor. The air filter can now be removed. The Mishimoto intake housing uses the original factory mounting points from Nissan. Inserting the housing into the engine bay and making sure it lines up with the bolt holes. Then use a 10mm socket. I attach the new intake adapter plate to the MAF sensor. Then reattach the air filter. Then attach the tube using the Jubilee clips, and don't forget to attach it to the PCV hose on the bottom. I found getting the entire intake in was easier if you attach the intake tube first, then the air filter housing. Then attach the final 10mm bolt to the side of the engine bay and check all fittings. As you can hear, this intake sounds amazing, especially with that little chirp on the throttle.
So there we have it, guys, the new intake is on, and I'll tell you what, it looks amazing. You've only got to look at the video yourself to show how much of an improvement that was from this gold pile of junk. So the eBay special has gone, been refitted with a Mishimoto cold air intake, and it will actually be functional now because the air filter is enclosed in its own little box. Everything uses the original mounting points, the original hardware. The fitment is so much better. From the throttle body, there's now one single tube with one Jubilee clip, so much tighter. The old one was so weak, it just wasn't lined up properly, so you never got a full tight seal. Obviously going to be a vacuum leak there. The one to the MAF sensor was okay, but obviously it was still a dual piece setup, which meant you needed more amps and closes and all that sort of stuff. The PCV valve pipe is actually way better positioned, straight into that nozzle. It'll just create, it's not strangling that tube anymore, so you know, the car was running fine for years with that pipe like that, so I can't imagine it's actually done anything to the performance, but I just think over time the car will potentially benefit from doing that. So all in all, guys, that is now my intake. Sorry it's been so long to actually make a video about Project Zara. These parts came fresh from Japan. I ordered them on Black Friday of 2020, can you believe that? They only came today, and it's now February. So yeah, hopefully my fans will be showing up soon, hopefully tomorrow I hope, and be installing them at some point in the future. But for now, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.